Hey everybody, welcome back. Now, I probably should not be doing this video, but I've got some things on my mind, and this channel is about advice and opinions, and I got plenty of that. So I'm going to dive into 7 different hot topics that are happening right now and tell you 7 things that I probably shouldn't say because they could get you in trouble, and because of this cancel culture that'll shut you down if you say something that you disagree with the masses. So anyway, hopefully this is some common sense stuff I'm just going to throw out there. And this is kind of in no particular order, but 7 big things that I probably should not say. Number 1, let's talk about protests. Yeah, protests are all over the world right now, especially in America. I completely support protests if they're peaceful, right? Passionate and peaceful. Those are the 2 things. If you can have passion and peace in your protest, absolutely, I am all for it, because that's what America is all about, is the freedom to gather peacefully for your cause. So if you do that, great. But when your protest starts turning into stealing, killing, and destroying, no, you are totally of the enemy and are no part of what should be accepted. I think the law should come in and shut any protest down that has any stealing, killing, or destroying. Peacefully gather, yep, that's my opinion on that. So protests, peacefully gather passionately and argue your cause, and I guarantee you some things will happen. And go about it the right way, in front of the right people with the right audience, and build your momentum, because it's hard to get people to buy into stealing, killing, and destroying. If you really want to build a momentum and a surge and a passion and a groundswell, do it passionately and peacefully. Number 2, national monuments. Good or bad? Remove them, keep them. Celebrate them, shun them. What should we do? My opinion on that. Yeah, there are some monuments that are controversial because the people that they celebrate, or the people that they're honoring with that art, and I do think it's art. It took an artist a lot of time and effort to do that. And these are beautiful pieces of work, no matter how bad or good the person was. They're beautiful pieces of art. But I think the good things about a person should be celebrated. So if they were a general, a war hero, somebody that did a big cause for a civil rights movement, anything like that, let's celebrate the good. If all they did was bad, but they were a dominant figure, let's go to another country. Maybe Adolf Hitler is probably one of the bad ones that you can think of, or Napoleon, these bad people that you can think of. Yeah, maybe those statues belong in a museum. So in America, when you talk about Confederate statues, these may or may not have been really good people. I know Robert E. Lee was quite the gentleman. He was a very, very nice guy in person with other people. Very cordial, very respectful of women. He was like the picture person for Southern etiquette, for chivalry and respect towards women. But you have the whole Civil War thing and how slavery tied into that, and how a lot of the war was fought on slavery, and he was the Southern general. So yeah, I get it. Very controversial. So any of these statues memorializing figures from the Civil War, which was very heavily with, race and slavery, and a big, big part of that Civil War was slavery. So I get it. Robert E. Lee, Grant, these figures, the Confederate flag, maybe they should be displayed in a museum, and you voluntarily go there. You can choose to go there or not go there. Maybe street names should be changed from controversial figures. I can see the argument for that, because it might hurt other people. Now, I'm not about taking anything down that hurts somebody else, or we will have a planet like Mars with nothing on it. You can't remove everything that's going to offend any person, because we won't have anything at all. Anything can offend anybody at any given time. I'm not going down that road. But the Confederate monuments, I think they either need to be in a museum and you voluntarily go to see them, or they need to be coupled with a story. They need to be coupled with or balanced with something else. So I live in Georgia around Atlanta. We've got Stone Mountain. We've got the big Confederate carving right there on Stone Mountain. That should be coupled with a carving of Martin Luther King, in my opinion, and tell the whole civil rights story. Let's go down Emancipation Proclamation and all that and what happened after the war. So tell the whole story. Don't just memorialize these Confederate characters. I get it. The whole story should be told. I don't think that the mountain should be defaced at all. But I get the argument. But these other, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, the big figures, the founding fathers of the country, okay, maybe they lived in a time, or maybe they did have slaves or didn't have slaves. I don't know. But I don't think that should be held against them in that time, and they didn't fight for that. They fought actually against that. Abraham Lincoln, come on. You want to destroy statues of Abraham Lincoln? That's where I'm not getting it. So monuments, yeah, I could see some of them could be controversial. Some of them belong in museums where you can voluntarily go there or not. You can choose not to go there. And it shouldn't be the public in riots tearing these monuments down. This should be a decision, a vote, and let the people decide what should happen and then properly dispose of these or move these if that is the answer. Number 3, police brutality. Yes, police brutality is bad. It sucks, and sometimes it's coupled with racism. Not all the time. Sometimes police are brutal, and regardless of color, regardless of anything with race. But in general, yes, police brutality is bad. Now, I don't think it's an epidemic. I don't think it's across the board. I don't think you can paint all of that across cops. You just can't do it. So my thought on number 3, yeah, police brutality is bad. I don't think it's across everything. I think it's a very, very minute number of people, cops, who flaunt their badge and abuse their power. I don't have defunding cops as one of these, so I'll expand on that a little bit. Defunding the cops, are you kidding me? No, that's the dumbest idea ever. Police are there to protect and serve. You take down the police, all you're going to do is hurt communities who depend on cops to stabilize those areas. Case in point, you look at these stupid chop zones that they're creating in these areas in these cities without cops, and then all it is it's not a street festival. These people are stealing, killing, and destroying, no matter how you look at it. And they're totally defacing and just ruining that area with trash and urination on the streets and on and on and on. So defunding cops, yeah, out. Number 4, racism. Duh. Yeah, racism is evil. It is bad. It is not a good thing and should never, ever happen. But it's going to happen. Anytime there's different colors, different cultures, you're going to have one pit against the other. You're going to have one bias against the other. That's just the way it is. It's just going to happen. Now, when it turns bad, when it turns into racism where one thinks they're greater than the other or better than the other, yeah, evil, bad. We shouldn't have that at all. But I was raised through 60s, 70s, 80s, and I've seen racism and race relations come a long ways. I mean, I know I'm white and I look through a different filter. I get that, and I've spoken about that on other videos that I've done. But I just don't see it. When I go out and I see black and white and people talking to each other and being cordial to each other, I just don't see it. I have to look for racism. And if you have to look for racism, then something's a problem. I just don't hear it. I don't see it. I'm not aware of it. And maybe it is my white filter, but it's just not as bad as people make it out to be. And it's not as common as people make it out to be. You just go out in general public, it's just not there. And when you have to make up stories to fit your narrative or exaggerate stories to fit your narrative, and it happens. When these things go to court, if it gets that far, it's a race relation thing and it gets to court and it comes out completely opposite because all the truth and the facts came out, you should wake up and just stop for a minute and realize, you know what, there's enough evil in the world. We don't need to make up things. We don't need to exaggerate things. So racism, yes, evil, bad, should not exist. Certain level of racism is going to happen all the time because you've just got different cultures and they don't understand each other. That's just the way it is. But yes, absolutely shouldn't happen. And I don't think that it's bad and it's big broad brush of black against white across the country or white against brown. I just don't think it's there. It's trying to fit a narrative to pit us against each other. There are higher powers trying to cause disruption and cause us to fight against each other. Number 5, Black Lives Matter. Big deal right now, right? Yeah, I said it on another video. The statement, the declaration, the fact, Black Lives Matter, I am 1,000% behind that. Absolutely, Black Lives Matter. And they've got the raw end of the deal in a lot of cases. And I've got several black friends. I go over to Kenya and witness to black cultures over there. I witness here into black cultures. So yeah, I've got many friends. I get it. I understand the certain level of oppression in that. So Black Lives Matter, I am all for raising up black people and giving them opportunities. I am all for it. Now, contradict that with the organization Black Lives Matter. I'm not for the organization Black Lives Matter at all. I think that their whole banner the whole name should be changed. It's deceiving. The Black Lives Matter title of that organization is completely deceiving. The Marxist ideas that they've got and the revolution that they're trying to do in America with the disruption, the breaking down of the family, now they're behind the defunding of the cops. It's about different types of rights that have nothing to do with black people, all these different other agendas that they're pushing through their system. And you can just look at their website. Don't take my word for it. Look at their website. Very little of it has to do with black people. And if you have to have asterisks under your banner, Black Lives Matter, unless you're conservative, unless you voted for Trump, unless you were killed by another black guy, unless, if you have all these exceptions, unless you don't live in America, hey, there's 600,000 slaves right now in Africa. Does Black Lives Matter care about that? Are they going over to Africa trying to free these people and trying to resolve that and fight against it and make awareness? Nope, because it's an agenda. So my whole opinion on that is get rid of the name, change the name, because that's not what it's about. The name, the statement, yes, Black Lives Matter, all for it, 1,000%. The organization is not what you think it is. Number 6, masks. Wearing face masks for the COVID-19 virus. Now, there's been so many studies on these. Some say it's good, some say it's bad, some say it's just unbelievable. It's going to save your life. Some people say it's going to kill you. Who knows? But I will say this. If scientists are right that say it's great, it's perfect, and it's going to save your life, then wear one. And don't worry about what anybody else does because you're wearing the mask that's going to save your life. So wear one. If that's what you believe, wear one. Nobody's going to fault you for wearing one. Wear it. And if it's that great, it's going to save you from all the dumb people out there that don't wear one. If you don't wear one, please practice social distancing. I think the 6 feet away from people, the not touching stuff, the washing your hands, don't touch your face, don't touch your eyes, don't put your finger in your mouth. Be careful when you touch things in public, the gas pump, the keypad on a credit card machine. Be careful what you touch and just have hand sanitizer with you. I think social distancing and proper just cleaning your hands and not touching things is way more effective than a mask ever thought it could be. The mask may or may not protect your mouth or your nose. It's getting in your eyes. There's other things that can happen. You're still touching things. You're not wearing a mask on your hands. There was a season where people were wearing gloves, but not so much anymore. Now it seems to be all about the masks. But it seems to be more about virtue signaling with the mask rather than what it's really doing. You're making a statement by wearing your mask actually rather than protecting anything. But I do fall back on if the mask is that super effective and it's the greatest thing that science has ever created, no matter if it's cloth or medical or whatever, bandana, if you think it's that awesome and science says it's that awesome, then when you wear it, you should be protected. Don't worry about what anybody else does, unless they come up spitting in your face or all up in your business. Get mad at social distancing or touching stuff that shouldn't happen. Don't get mad at other people not wearing a mask or choosing not to wear a mask. There's my thoughts on that. And number 7, probably should not say this either. Speech. Man, speech is under attack right now. We're under a cancel culture. If you say things that people disagree with or you're not buying in to the big push agenda, you will be shut down. You'll be fired. You'll be let go. Your life will be ruined. Your family will be threatened. It's not good. But I believe in freedom of speech. I think diversity of ideas, diversity of speech, diversity of opinions is just as important as diversity of race. I think that we need to have just as much conversations, good and bad, right and wrong, black and white, just as many conversations, funny, not funny, harmful, not harmful, hurtful, not hurtful, offensive, not offensive. We need to have varying ideas. I'm a firm believer in freedom of speech. If you don't have freedom of speech, you don't have freedom of ideas. You don't have anybody contradicting and challenging. You've got no challenge whatsoever. Then it becomes a dictatorship. It becomes communism when you don't have freedom of speech or freedom of ideas. This whole cancel culture is bad. It's extremely harmful. We have the right to hang around people we want to hang around, do business with people who we want to do business with. Let that be your personal decision. We can watch things, we can listen to things that we want to listen to and watch. Don't listen or watch to the things you don't, but don't shut them down. Don't take away their right to show or say or do. Don't take their right away to do that. Just stay away from it if it's not for you. So I'm a big opponent of the cancel culture. I don't think it's healthy for any society. I think we have to have challenging ideas. So I know this was kind of a quick video. I ran down the 7 things, my opinions on the big 7 things that are happening right now, and 7 things that I probably shouldn't have said. Thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate you being here. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you get notified of future videos. Take care. We'll see you next time.